You hear who this? It's story time. It's story time. Welcome back to our channel. It's me, Tracy.
And Raquel.
And today we're gonna do something a little bit different. So you guys get to see our makeup tutorials. You see us, do the hair, the makeup, but you don't really know what goes on in our real life.
Behind the scenes. Like, I feel like every time we go out, something crazy has to happen. Like something where it's kind of like, why us?
I don't like drama going on, but I feel like drama just follows.
And drama follows certain people. This was supposed to be our New Year's trip to New York. So every time we try to do something and outdo the last New Year's. So whether it's like Vegas, New York, anywhere we go, we try to outdo it. So this was our girls' trip to New York.
Yeah, so we're so excited. We're gonna be in Manhattan. We're gonna, live it up.
It was your first time, wasn't it?
Not in New York City, but like with friends.
With friends instead of family, those ones.
Yeah, so we're gonna live it up, be in New York City, do the whole countdown there, all Sex and the City like. So, it was supposed to be like a run of the mill, you go down, you have fun, you come back home. But that's not how it went down. It was like very dramatic, very just
everything went left. So it all started off, so we basically woke up extremely early in the morning. We went downtown to the Greyhound station and got on the bus. So we're all tired as is, and mind you, we're from Toronto, so we live 2 hours away from the border, the US border, I would say. We're heading to the border and it's just taken an extremely long time. Mind you, I'm the type that I don't like road trips. I don't like being in a car confined next to people for like an extremely long amount of times because I get really annoyed myself. But like we finally get to the border and we all, you have to get off the border to give your passport, you have to get cleared. So we're waiting in the bus for like a couple to get back on the bus, and apparently like they were trying to like smuggle drugs into the US and they got like booted off, so they didn't join the trip back with us. So
that was
their trip ended there.
So that was like our sign that there was something not right on this bus. Like it was just not a regular bus. The people on that bus was not regular.
The sketchiness just continues. We ended up in Buffalo and we make our second stop. A bunch of guys got on the bus. Like a bunch of grown men got on the bus, and we're like, damn, this bus got full all of a sudden. So basically we're still drowsy. It's still fairly early in the day. Everyone's sleeping and I kind of wake up in the middle of my sleep out of nowhere and look to my right, and this guy is just staring at me. Like this is one of the dudes that just got on the Greyhound. So he was like up and like staring at me. And when you're awkward, like you catch someone staring at you and you're like, you're just smiling, like what else is there to do? I'm like, hi, kind of thing. And I like went back to sleep. Like that was odd. Like why is he staring at me? So then we continue and I wake up again. Like I'm just uneasy as is. Like there's so many people on the bus, like so many men on the bus in a weird way, and we're all just like sleeping peacefully. So I wake up again like out of my sleep and look to the right again, and he's like, excuse me miss, do you have a cassette player? And I'm like, is this a joke? Like are you trying to flirt with me? Like is this like a pickup line? Like why are you asking if I have a cassette player? No, I haven't seen that since I was like 4 years old. Like I didn't want to be rude, but I'm like, no one uses a cassette player anymore. Like is that what you're really asking me? Like is that what you really want, kind of thing, right? I close my eyes and like open them again, and he cracks his cassette in half. Like he breaks it. And I'm like, why would he do that? And he asked me for a garbage. Like, do you have a garbage? I'm like, oh, everyone in their seated area, like their designated seated area, has a garbage bag like next to them. Like yours is right there. Like put that shit in the garbage. So then he did. I thought that was weird. And when the girls woke up, I like said like, yo, this guy next to me is sketch city and I'm not trying to like talk to him.
This trip was supposed to take 7 hours, around 7 hours from Toronto to New York City. So how long did it take? It took about, honestly, I would say 12 to 15 hours.
It took a long time.
It took half the day.
Sun up to sundown.
Yeah, sun up to sundown. So we're taking forever. I'm getting annoyed. Like, I'm like, what is the holdup? We were still in New Jersey, I remember.
This, yeah.
We're in New Jersey trying to get to New York City, and people are now getting aggravated.
And they're yelling at the bus driver, like, figure it out, get us there. Like, why is this taking so long? And like half of me feels bad, but half of me is kind of like, say it louder, you know, so
Yeah.
he hears you, so we can get to where we want to be. Like, this was supposed to be day one or night one in New
and
York
we're spending
City.
night one in a bus.
In a bus,
Greyhound.
like still in the bus. So he obviously gets a little antsy and he goes off route and starts taking side roads to get us to New York City.
And if anyone knows a Greyhound, you're not supposed to be taking side roads. Like, side roads are not for you if you're in a Greyhound bus, which is huge.
Bro, follow the route.
So basically, he takes these small routes, and you know how there's cars on the sides of the streets? So there'll be cars parked on one side of the street, cars parked on the other side of the street. So it makes it even narrower to get into the road lane. So this guy, like, he's trying to make a left turn, and you can tell, like, it's really tight. Like, you should probably back up at this point. Like, he's driving, and people are like uneasy.
Everyone's uneasy, like, whoa,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And like, we head straight into the pole. The whole bus, the side of the bus hits the pole and the windows smash inside.
So
of the
everyone's
bus.
like this, like everyone's like, whoa!
And all the windows smash inside, like
yeah.
all the glass comes inside. And there was like these people sitting right there, and I don't know how, it was like the Matrix, but they like flipped out of their seats and like was okay at the end of it, which was really weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you okay? Like, how did you foresee that? That
And
was
when
weird.
that happened, I felt like I was in a dream. Like, you know when you're on a Greyhound bus or anything where somebody else is driving, you don't expect them to hit anything.
Yeah.
So the man, like, just went into a pole. Like, he's just into the pole. And I'm like, did this really happen? Like, did we really just crash this
And
Greyhound?
everyone's sitting there like, yo, we're already cheesed as is. Like, we're already tight that if this has taken so long, then our whole bus is smashed, like, to pieces. So, what now?
We all pretty much, like, have the common sense, not like we got direction, but we had the common sense to get off the bus. So
Yeah.
then everyone kind of gets off the bus, we take our stuff, and we're just chilling there. There's no
On
direction.
the side of the road. It's dark now. It's nighttime now.
We're in
like-
New Jersey. I don't know where we are. We're just there, and we're just asking, like, hey, are they gonna send help? Like, are they gonna send a Greyhound? Like, is someone going to call somebody?
Like, what's the next motive? Everyone was just chilling on the road. Like, there was, like, this is it.
This is it,
This
yeah.
is our trip. Like, nothing else was happening. So we're just chilling on the side of the road for a really long time. And I have this idea. I'm like, you know what? This is night one in New York. We're like, I need to go and get some drinks or something, you know, to like turn this bad situation like into maybe a decent situation. So I go off with my friend Rebecca. We go off to like find some type of store, and this guy is trailing behind us. Like, this guy from the bus, one of the guys that we picked up in Buffalo, is trailing behind us. And he's like, excuse me miss, like, can I come with you guys? I'm like, you don't even know where we're going. But okay, I guess. So we're just the nice Canadians. We're like, come along, like, whatever, just walk with us. So he's just like, like, I do need to tell you guys something. And we're walking and we're like, what? Like, what's going on? And he's just like, you know, I just got out the bin today. And I was just like, what? And he's just like, yeah, like, that stop in Buffalo, like, all the felons basically got on the bus. We're going home.
So all those guys who came onto the bus on that one stop, they were all felons who were released from jail. Big deal.
I should have known. Hello, my radar. I should have known, because all of them were dressed like
Just like, you know, in the 2000s where like people were wearing Echo jeans or like
with the studs on the butt pocket, like
Yeah.
they had like the bedazzled butt pocket,
the oversized t-shirts.
and I'm talking like Save the Last Dance Malachi. Like,
Yeah.
baggy clothes. So they're like throwbacks. Like, all of them are kind of throwbacks, like TBTs, like
and
right in front
then
of you.
you remembered the cassette tape.
Oh my gosh. And then I'm like, okay, so this guy wanted a cassette player. You guys just got out the bin all at the same time onto this bus. And mind you, coming from Toronto, our bus was like fairly empty. Like, it was peaceful.
Yeah.
And then it was rammed, like, with bare mats. So I'm just like, this makes sense.
It was pretty much probably that guy's mixtape or something, and when he broke the cassette, Raquel probably broke his dreams when
He's
she's
like, I'm gonna come out of jail, I'm gonna pop off, release this fire mixtape. Like, this guy cracked it in half. I didn't even know. I was just like putting all the pieces together. I'm like, I shattered his whole life. So I get back and Tracy's on the bus by herself with bare mans. And I'm like, get off the bus. And she's like, no, it's cold. No, it's cold. I'm like, get off the bus, bro. So we get off the bus and I explain it. I fill her in and she's just like, what is going on? And she starts Tracy gets anxious really easily.
I get really, like, I have panic attacks and spaz attacks. So I was like, no, like, we're not staying here. We're gonna have to find a way out of here.
Like, what is the move?
So then Vanessa comes up with a move. She's like, let's go party with these guys. And she's pointing at the Felons. And I'm like, we just established that these guys are ex-convicts. And she's like, yeah, they're ex-convicts. I don't care if you're a pre-convict, a convict, an ex-convict. I don't care what you are. You're a convict, so I'm not trying to party with you. I'm sorry.
Tracy's putting everyone into the same bucket right now.
No, this is where we peace out and we find our way out of here.
To where we're supposed to be. So we can literally see the city. Like, we can see the Manhattan lights. And we're like, that's where we need to be, all the way over there. And this is where we are. What's our situation like? So then out of nowhere, like nowhere, this bus pulls up and this, like,
she was a jolly.
She was someone's grandma.
Yeah,
she had to be someone's grandma. And she's like,
it was a city bus.
She's like, what y'all doing? Like, what y'all doing on the side of the road? And then we're like, well, this is our situation. Our bus got broke down. She's like, well, then come on in. She's like, come on in then. So we literally get on the bus for free. And she's like, where are you trying to go? And she's just like, well, get in. So we all get on the bus and she literally drops us like
in the middle of the city, and we were so grateful.
Bless her heart.
Yeah,
bless her.
Anyways, we make it into the city.
Thank God.
Then we go to our Airbnb that I had no part in.
If you don't know what an Airbnb is, it's kind of like when someone has a unit, like a rental unit, and they rent it out to people that are traveling, or say you're in that area and you need to stay for the night. Way cheaper than a hotel, and you have more of like a community vibe. Like, you feel like you're actually living there.
Someone's house.
It's someone's house.
So we get to the Airbnb that they had booked. We open the door and it's nice and cozy. Then I look to the side and there's two cats staring at us. And I'm like, who booked the Airbnb with the cats?
Okay, Tracy's not a cat person.
I'm not a cat person.
She's not a dog person. Anyways, the cats were there. We're like, okay, well, the cats are here. We're gonna have to feed them. We're gonna have to take care of them.
Our friend Rebecca, she was loving the cats. Like, I'm sure she's the one who booked the Airbnb, and she's like, sure, we'll take care of your cat.
Anyways, these cats, something was wrong, like, with the cats.
Something was off with the cats, and I already believe that cats are like, they're kind of like witch creatures. Like, they can see ghosts. Like, I think they can see ghosts and like other things like that.
God.
Have you guys heard of that? Like, ghosts, cats are like smart. Like, they can like see other worlds.
Anyways, these cats were like,
they were
seeing duppies. Like, they were like all over the place. Like, they were on the couch, they were on our head, they were on the stove, they were everywhere in the house.
Zooming back and forth, and I was like, you could tell they were acting up because there were guests in the house
or someone new.
Yeah,
but it was not right. No. Like, they were so fast, like ding, 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 and it sounded like they sounded like 10 people in one.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, what is going on? Like, we just traveled all the way here and we want to settle down. Like, these cats are like flying over our head, like ding, 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 ding.
There was one night where we noticed the cats were calmed down. We're like, where's the cats? Like,
why is it so quiet?
Why is it so quiet? So we go around to look for the cats. Tell me why they're playing with a cockroach.
Not a cockroach. There was many cockroaches. They were just like,
they're just playing with them. I'm like, no. We did not come to New York for this. We didn't. So I was like, no.
Get the cockroach. Someone needs to get the cockroach. Someone needs to get the cats, and we need to get our lives and get started with the trip.
So somebody killed the cockroaches, but I got angry and I started emailing the host. And
Tracy got on the computer and like, excuse me, miss.
But are you aware that there are cockroaches in your unit that you let us stay in? And she's like, she types back, she goes, this is New York, what do you think? And I'm like,
like, why did we get served with the line?
She kind of shut it down though.
She shut it down and she's like, okay, and what?
Yeah.
She's like, cockroaches and what? So anyways, we're determined to make the best of this trip. We're like, something sketchy is going on, but we're gonna still have fun. So the next day, we're like, let's go exploring. Let's get on these subways. Let's get to the city, like Manhattan. Because by the way, we're staying in Brooklyn. So then Okay, so when you go on a girls trip, I don't go on many girls trips. When you do go on a girls trip, I know it's not just me, but your outfits are kind of like premeditated. You're kind of like, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday, and I'm gonna like slay the whole town kind of thing. So basically we're going on the subway and everyone looks bomb, but like Vanessa's like wearing her work shoes.
So if you guys haven't seen Vanessa's work shoes, they're like really clunky black shoes that like a grandma would wear.
But they're like leather with Velcro straps over it, and they're like bigger than her feet. Like they were just like, I'm like, why are you wearing those? So it started off as a joke, and I just really started off as a joke, like, bro, why are you wearing those on your feet kind of thing. And I was laughing. So I guess it continued down, like the roast season started. So I
was going off roasting her on the subway.
Bro, I was on fire with the lines. My lines were on fire.
If you guys know our group of friends, everybody takes their turn getting roasted. So pretty much it's Vanessa's turn to get roasted. So when you get roasted, we don't take it personally. We just kind of like take it, you know?
We're just like, true? We're like, okay, true.
We
like,
just learned something.
My life just got blew up, but okay.
Yeah.
Like, on to the next. Anyway, so I guess it carried on into the subway. So we're sitting in the subway. I'm like, bro, like, what are those? Like, literally staring at her feet, like, why? And Vanessa was like, I guess she was starting to get annoyed or whatever. So this person walks past, this woman walks past, and I guess she doesn't know, she didn't really take in that we're all a group of friends. So she thought that I was just targeting this poor innocent Vanessa and thought that I was just roasting her whole life, like with the shoes. And it literally, like, have you seen the show What Would You Do? It was one of those moments.
She was ready, she stood up, she's like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? She's an innocent girl, what did she do to you? And she cussed out Raquel.
Everyone was staring at me like,
have you ever been cussed out by a New Yorker? She was a New Yorker cussing out Raquel.
Oh my gosh, I was like, yo, and I was looking at Vanessa like, explain to her.
Vanessa was dead quiet.
Vanessa was like, you deserve this. Vanessa was like, yeah. Like egging it on, like, thank you so much. Thank you for taking that for me. Oh, she was being so mean to me. She ruined my day. And then everyone was staring at me, looking at me like I was Regina George. They're like, what's wrong with this girl? Get her off.
Yeah,
get her off the subway. Get her off the subway.
Everyone's staring at Raquel like, what's wrong with you? Like, people were taking out their phone.
So I basically got roasted, like, jokes on me kind of thing at the end of the day. And then Vanessa busted out laughing. Like, she's like, ha,
bro, you couldn't laugh when the
you
girl was
deserve
it.
Yeah, she's like, you deserve that. I'm like, that sucks.
Okay, so after the subway, we just go shopping. We do all the touristy stuff, like Times Square. We had an amazing, amazing time in New York City. So we kept meeting promoters. Like, apparently promoters is a thing in New York City. Like,
they're huge.
Yeah.
Like in Toronto, it's not so much. You're not so much of a big deal.
You can get into any club in Toronto if you stand in line, but in New York City, apparently you need to know somebody.
They're like the kingpins out there. Like, that's your link. That's your connection, and that's how you're gonna be good for the night.
So we were taking down numbers like crazy, like, let me link up with you this night, whatever. We are working it. So New Year's comes and we're like, whatever we do, it needs to be lit. So we take the best thing that came our way. It was this private party, and it was like, you dress up formal, it's gonna be like bomb. So we were like, yes, we're doing this.
Right.
So we all get dressed, we look amazing, like we slayed it. So we go and we pull up, I think we came in a taxi. So we pull up to the place, I believe it was in, I'm not gonna try to guess where it was, but we pull up to the place and we come out and we see people coming out of their cars. They look like princesses.
Like gorgeous, like they're beautiful. Like gowns, when you wear gowns. Like here I always wish we could wear a gown, but where to?
Yeah.
Like they slayed.
The guys had the tuxes on, they came in with the girl. You know, it was like, are we at a ball? But we were loving it because we've never had anything like that in Toronto.
It was a really good experience.
Yeah.
So we were there and we're like, okay.
Yes,
we got the invite. Okay.
We're like, this is about to be the most lit New Year's ever.
And somehow, like, word got out that we were from Toronto, so those guys there were like, oh, these girls from Toronto. And we're like, hey, it is us.
Yeah, we were feeling ourselves.
And it was like one of those ones where like they take your coat at the door, you know, all drinks were flowing, everyone's just good vibes.
And then the countdown comes. Everyone, you know, gets together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
And it was beautiful.
It was so, like, I will remember that for the rest of my life. It was such a nice New Year.
I'm just gonna quickly side note. So my boyfriend lives in New York. He's lived there for 4 years. So for New Year's, he was out away in Texas. So he came back on New Year's, and I was torn. I'm like, I want to spend New Year's with the girls, but I also want to spend New Year's with Bae, like, you know, divide my time. So at the end of the day, all the girls knew that I was gonna leave at some point. I did New Year's with them. We did the countdown. It was spectacular. And I remember that I had to leave. Like, it got to the point, like, I was good, having a good time. I'm like, okay, looking at the time, let's go, Raquel.
Yeah, so we all knew that Raquel had to leave, so we said bye. You know, we waved like bye.
And I stood at the door and I looked back at everyone just partying, and it was like one of those moments that you capture and you hold on to for life. I'm like, this is so beautiful. I'm like, at least they're having a good time. I'm leaving on a really good note.
Yeah.
I had my good time. Let me go find Bae.
So I'm waving at Raquel, bye, bye. I turn around and I see this guy. Why is he bleeding from head to toe? Like, this is where the night went left. I'm like, wait, what? This guy looked like Carrie. Have you guys seen the movie Carrie? Like, he was just standing there, blood dripping. And I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like, Raquel, come back! Like, what is going on? So I'm like, wait. And you can tell in the air, like, the atmosphere is changing. Like, people are moving toward the door. Like, people are starting to run a little bit, right? And I'm getting, like, I have a sixth sense for these things, right? First of all, I see a guy bleeding and people are moving toward the door. I'm like, yo, it's time to go. So then, like, at that point, I think it was too late, because, like, some guy comes to the bleeding guy and takes a bottle and smashes it over his head. And I'm like, so I run to, like, the nearest piece of furniture, and I'm hiding there, right? I see Vanessa hiding somewhere else, Rebecca hiding somewhere else.
And mind you, Tracy cannot handle this type of stress.
I'm sorry, I can't. So, like, everyone's running now, like, full out running toward the door. This beautiful night is now over. Like, all hell is broken loose. Guys are fighting, bottles are being smashed on people's heads. I'm like, yo, if a gunshot goes off right now, I'm not trying to be here. So basically, I can see Vanessa and Rebecca on the other side behind another piece of furniture. And I'm like, you know, we're basically saying, like, head towards the door. But then I remember, I checked my coat in the coat check. I bought a jacket in New York City that day, and I wore it there. So I am wearing it out. So I was like, no, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna go back inside, like, deep inside, and I'm going to go get my jacket.
You know when hell is breaking loose and everyone's heading to the door, but you're like, you know, that jacket is new, so yeah. I'm going back this way into the chaos to get my jacket. That's Tracy right here.
So I went by myself. I'm going against the traffic. I'm like this, like, get me to the back kind of thing, right? And in my head, there's something telling me, like, Tracy, you're doing the wrong thing. Like, leave your jacket and go home. But I'm ignoring that, okay? I am going to the back. Now, I get to the back where the coat check room is, and I realize there's a ton of people who kind of think like me, because there's a ton of people standing outside the room. But it's like a mosh pit. Like, if you let somebody pull at you, like, pull down enough, you would get trampled. So I kept saying to myself, like, Tracy, keep your head up, like, keep your head above, or else you're gonna get trampled. You don't want to heel in your face. I remember seeing this girl, like, she was getting down lower and lower, and I had to help pull her up, because I was like, girl, you are going to get trampled if you keep
you're like, get back up here.
Get up here. So, like, I can see, like, into the room of the coat check, and there's a ton of people in there, like, tearing things apart. It's, like, crazy in there. So I'm like, you know what, I don't have time for this. So I push even further. So I see a chair, so I climb on the chair. Then I see a table, I climb on the table. I'm now looking down on all the chaos in the room. So I look around. The jacket is nowhere to be found. I was like, I did not come all this way for the jacket to not be here. So I see something that looks like my jacket. It's from Zara. It's like a black and white. It looks the same. So I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take this, because it's freezing outside. I'm gonna take this. Like Raquel said, I'm not good with these situations. Like, I am a spaz. Like, I just can't do it. So then I kind of like, I guess my body kind of took in what happened, and I broke out in a full out panic attack. Like,
so embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. Like, I went toward the wall and I start crying. I'm like, like, you know Kim Kardashian's ugly cry? Like, I'm the type to like scream cry. So I'm like, and you know when you have to gasp for breath and like everyone's walking past like, are you good? Like, are you okay? And I was like, I just need a moment. And then like Vanessa's used to this, so she sees me outside the room and she's like, whatever. But Rebecca's kind of like, she was kind of new, so she was looking like, is she good? Like, is she good? Vanessa's
and
like,
if I was there, I'd have been like, Tracy, get it together, let's go.
Vanessa's like, yeah, she's fine. Like, she'll get over it. Basically, for some reason, I had the jacket in my hand. I didn't want to put it on. It's not my jacket. So then, like, we see a phone booth. So we're like, let's go into the phone booth and like warm up in there. So we go to the phone booth and then we look outside. I'm like, isn't that girl wearing my jacket? Something in me snapped. Like, I'm a very calm person. I'm very reserved. I would never fight anybody.
You literally just went through all that to get your jacket. So.
Yeah, but I just remembered everything I just did to get that jacket, and the girl is wearing it. So something in me snapped. So I go up to the phone booth, and I'm banging on the phone booth like, that's my jacket! That's my jacket! And I'm like, bang, 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 bang. These girls are like, whoa, right?
Like, who's the crazy girl?
So then I open it. I'm like, excuse me, that's my jacket, right? And she's like, no, that's my jacket. Then she looks down at the jacket in my hand and she's like, oh, and then she snatches it. That's my jacket. And I'm like, yeah, I know, like, this is, like, you're wearing my jacket. So then she wriggles out of my jacket and throws it to me and then like closes back the phone booth. I'm like, bro. Vanessa's like, you can't just go up to New York girls and try to fight them. Like, I wasn't trying to fight her, but
Tracy will get her face smashed in.
Yeah, I'm just a weak little girl. I don't know what came over me. I didn't try to fight her, but I was like, basically like, give me back my jacket. So then the next day comes, this is January 1st, and we're all exhausted.
The trip was just too much. I think we were just kind of like ready to go home.
Yeah,
I think
ready.
we're all on the same page. Obviously the night before was New Year's, so we were all, you know, like a little bit turned from the night before. We have an early morning flight, I think.
We're at LaGuardia Airport and we're in the line. And it's a pretty long line.
So we get to security. So we're kind of inching up to security and looking at the time like we need to catch our flight. So then Tracy's like tapping my shoulder like, I think I'm gonna like hurl. And I'm like, no, you're not, like not right now. And she's like, I have to. I'm like, you better swallow it. Like, like getting mad. Like, no, you're not. We're inching closer and closer to security. So security's literally staring at Tracy. Like,
I'm like trembling. I'm like,
like the, they're looking at like us, like the group of friends, and then they're looking at Tracy, like, what is going on with your friend over here? Like, why is she shaking? And why does she look like that? So Tracy gets right up to the security guard.
So I walk up and I'm like giving him my passport. I'm like this. And then I just like book it to the next, like I start running because I see a garbage bin like to the side. So then I get to the garbage bin and I projectile vomit into this
so
garbage bin, and everyone kind of just stops and is staring at me. It's complete silence and I'm like, "Ugh."
And you could hear it. It was so disturbing. I was like this, like, that's not my sister. And I was like, they were looking at me like, is she gonna be okay? Like, what is really wrong with her? And I'm like, she's afraid of heights.
Yeah, she saved me.
I'm like, she's afraid of flying. And everyone's like, oh, like rubbing her back, like don't be worried.
Don't be that nervous. And I was like, yeah, I hate this. And then we're walking and Rebecca and Raquel are looking at me like, bro,
get it together. Like, can Tracy get it together? Like, seriously.
So moral of the story is, be careful who you get on a bus with. Be careful who your driver is.
Be careful where you book your Airbnb. Be careful who you party with. Just stay safe, folks.
Seriously. If you guys like story times, then comment below that you want more story times because we have a ton more stories.
A ton more.
Make sure to subscribe and we will see you next week. Bye.